Alright, hey out there guys, it is Wednesday the 19th, and I was trying to make a quick video here. I've been playing around with shock absorbers on the back of this truck only because I have some extra ones laying around, okay? Let's see what the difference is. These are just basic shock absorbers, you know. If you know anything about shock absorbers, they're basically all the same. You've got a piston inside that moves through the oil. The piston has little holes through it, and the oil's, for it to move, the oil's got to go through the piston. And you know, that's the basic shock absorber. You got foam cell, you got gas charge, nitrogen, you know, mono tube, twin tubes. But the basic concept is the same. It's a piston that goes up and down here, and to get up and down, it's got to go through the oil. No magic there. So if you pay for a high dollar shock, typically they're mono tube, and if you get the reservoir, it's got the reservoir on it. What's the reservoir do? The reservoir, instead of the gas being in the tube, it's in this tube. There's a floating piston in there. A mono tube like a 5100 has the gas in the shock body, separated by a floating piston besides the piston on the shaft. So these are for the rough country 6-inch lift. So with a 6-inch lift kit, you're going to want at least a 26-inch long shock on the rear. That's center to center on these things, okay? If you go any bigger, you may stand a chance of it bottoming out on itself before the bump stops, okay? Now, if you really want to go bigger, you'd have to mount the move the top mount up. If you ever seen pre-runners, they got the shocks up through the bed. Well, that's one way to do it. So, by the way, these rough country shocks are made by Gabriel. It says on the bushings there, okay? These are gas charged. I had these off the Bronco. These are foam cell, okay? These are, yeah, these are like 58 bucks. Pretty good heavy duty shocks. Run these for years on the Bronco. They're just a little stiff. So, difference between this shock, that shock, and the shocks I got on there right now is just the valving, okay? Some are stiffer than the others, some are valve different. They're gonna ride a little different. Everybody's got their own preference. They're tuned different, you know. I'm just experimenting here with what I've got. Nobody gave me these. I pay for all this stuff, right? So, I don't want to hear any comments on there. Why don't you get some real high dollar shocks and stuff like that? Hey, you got them, send them to me. I'm open. I'll take them. But for right now, this is what I got to mess with, and that's what this video is about. Alright guys, it's Friday. It's Friday, and I'm kind of thinking maybe I shouldn't be making any more videos because this isn't really making any money. But so it's kind of up in the air right now. I haven't done it yet, or maybe I will. I'll set up like a GoFundMe on PayPal if you'd like to donate, if you like watching these videos, because all this costs money. I got no sponsors, no corporate backers, no so everything I've done to this truck, I've done kind of on a budget. I could do a lot more, but I would have run out of money a long time ago. So, and it's basically to get me from point A to point B, and the truck does fine just the way it is. I've seen a lot of other videos out there. There's this guy, what, Horsepower Obsessed, does Colorado videos. So he's doing a bunch of useless things that I'm just like, yeah, first of all, I don't have money for. You know, he's changing out the lights and the grill, and 6,000 volt. He's got 6,000 views on this one video just because he changed out the grill. I mean, I don't get it. I do the important stuff, the stuff that works, right? So, right now, I'm in the midst of finding some replacements for these Fox coilovers. That's something I was interested in for a long time, because I've been around Baja racing and all that stuff, and pre-runner stuff, and it looks like really cool stuff, you know. But this stuff comes from racing. It's racing parts, you know. All this stuff can be fine-tuned and adjusted, and you know, you can probably configure it any way you want. So, and they're expensive. If you got the money for it, heck, go for it, you know. And then you gotta have them rebuilt every so many thousand miles and serviced and all that stuff, you know. It's good stuff. If you're racing, you're gonna go with something like that. You can fine tune it. But I just need something to go down the road. The only reason I bought those, I get these questions all the time. Well, what'd you put those on there for then? You know, I only bought those because they're the only ones that would fit with this lift kit. It's a rough country lift kit, okay? And rough country sells the shocks, the longer shocks for the rear, and they sell the longer struts for the front. They got to be longer for the lift kit. Okay, see, because this is the factory strut. It's got to be longer. So just to save money, I went with the factory strut and a strut extender to make this longer. It just has to be longer. Travel stays the same. It's the same suspension. It just dropped down 6 inches. Okay, so these are okay for driving around town, but they were way too soft for off-road. So I was looking for something better, and the only thing I could find that would fit, other than the rough country struts, rough country makes the struts longer, okay? I figured, okay, I'll spend the extra money. I'll spend the $1,600. $800 for one shock absorber, okay? They must be some kind of magic in them, right? Because, man, why spend $800? These things got to be, yeah, these things are gonna ride like a Cadillac, right? Yeah. So anyway, they're okay around town, but off-road, forget it. It's way too soft. Very disappointed after spending all that money. Now they can be revalved. That costs money. Means I got to take them off the truck, take them somewhere to be revalved. Someone that knows suspension tuning. Because you can tune these any way you want. But you know what? The proof is once you put them on and take it for a ride, then you find out, oh no, now they're too stiff. Now they're too soft. You know, there's all kinds of in between there. That's why they call it tuning. Suspension tuners, when they do these trophy trucks and stuff, you see, you know, they'll set it up and they'll take it for a drive and test drive it, and they'll tweak the tuning up, down, front, rear, back, you know. Who's got money for that? That's why it's best to stick with the factory stuff you can buy off the shelf. So, like I said, all that costs money. You want to contribute, you want to see that? I'm going to make a way that you can do that, okay? But for right now, this is what I got. I'm just messing around on the rear of this. These are the factory rear shocks, okay? They're gas shock, twin tube gas shocks, made in Mexico by BWI. Issue with these is they're too short for the lift, right? So these come with the rough country lift. They're twin tube gas shocks. They're longer to accommodate the lift. Kind of I don't see nothing wrong with these. They ride okay. They are made in Mexico. They got some really big bushings on here. That's kind of neat. Nice big shaft. And yeah, nothing wrong with them. I just want to try something else. Oh, here's one issue. See the dings in there right there? They hit on the springs when I go off-road. The leaf spring goes right here. So they're rubbing on the leaf spring. Oh, they're touching the leaf spring every now and then. Does not hurt the shock because it's a twin tube shock. It's a tube in a tube. The piston rides in another tube inside. So anyway, lately, sometime last week, I had a set of these shocks laying around. Dosh Tech. From what I hear, that the guy that started this company used to work for Rancho. Correct me if I'm wrong, but so inexpensive shocks, heavy duty, nice big shafts. It's this is the I think the pre-runner shock. I don't remember now, but it's twin tube foam cell. It doesn't have gas pressure. It's a foam cell shock. They come with bumpers. See the bumper on the top here, but they are stiff. I've been running these on the Bronco for years. These are excellent when you hit big bumps. I mean, you know, when you're, I wouldn't say jumping the truck, but when you hit a big bump, you need a shock stiffen up to soak that up. Except they ride rough on the small bumps, like around town. So that's why I have these laying in the garage. I took these off and I replaced them, but I figured let's try them on this truck. Okay, so noticeable difference from the rough country to this right here. With these, the truck rides like a truck. You can feel every little bump on the road, but off-road, when you hit the big bumps, it soaks them up really good. Really noticeable around town when I go over some dips. We got some dips around here, you know, where the street goes like that and everybody slows down. These soak them right up. But you do feel all the little bumps, so that's the issue with that. So I figured, you know what? I got another set of shocks here. These are off the Bronco. Some more Bronco shocks. These are James Duff, and these are another foam cell shock. And all these shocks are made in Mexico. I wonder if they come from the same plant. I know these are made by Gabriel because it says so on the bushings. But these James Duff shocks are another foam cell shock. They're not gas pressure. Now these are supposed to be softer valved on compression down and firmer valved on extension, or rebound they call it, rebound, yeah. You know, it's a spring. When your springs are squashed down, they want to spring back. So anyway, that's why they say 70-30 on there. That's the ratio. The ratio of the valving. Yeah. That all comes down to shock tuning. These are stiff in compression and rebound, so I figured these might be like a 50-50. Not sure, I don't have any way to measure this stuff, but wow, these are a lot heavier. I'll tell you what, these are probably 8 years old. I never had any leaks or any issues with these, though. I still have them on the Bronco on the front. On the rear, I put the James Duffs, and it rides a lot softer now with these, so I thought I'd try these anyway. Since I have them here, let's see what the truck rides like with these on here. Alright guys, I'm trying to put together a quick video here, but I'm going to include a link on the end, okay, showing you a guy actually retuning some shocks, okay, on a buggy. And if you listen along and you follow, it's about a 6-minute video, but it's worth watching if you're interested in stuff like that. I mean, he'll show his buggy there. He says he took them shocks apart on that thing about 10 times before he got it tuned just right where he wanted, you know. So like I said, it's everybody's personal preference and exactly what you're doing, what kind of driving, kind of weight you're carrying. There's a lot to it. So I'm going to try to stick with stuff off the shelf. Like I said, I'm trying to work with Coney right now, and we'll get some stuff for the fronts. If I can make the fronts work, I'm going to see if they can set me up with something for the rear, and we'll go with the Coneys on the rear too. And those do have rebound adjusters. According to everything I read, the Coneys have internal hydraulic bump stops and rebound adjustable. So we'll see how that works out. I'm still I'm working on it.